Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku, back with another video. And so today we're going to be talking about the live action canceled Cowboy Bebop short-lived series. I haven't really in the lead up to it, because it was getting more coverage than it was worth my time for me to really dive into it. I mean, I've given my tidbits here and there about it. But at the end of the day, this Cowboy Bebop live action Netflix series will always be another run-of-the-mill Dragon Ball Evolution, Last Airbender, failed adaptation that didn't deliver. It's now on that list. It's something we didn't need. It's not something people asked for. And it's certainly not something that delivered. Now, if you're in my Discord server, I have given my opinions on the series. And so many problems with the series. I haven't, talked about them on YouTube because it's not necessary. It was not something that wasn't really on my radar, nor was it something that I cared enough to make a video about. But since it got canceled after one season, didn't even finish its run of, the rest of the adaptation, because I guess the second season would basically have been the rest of the series, basically, of season one. But who knows, maybe they would have done a third season to finish up the adaptation, I don't know. To spread it all out, who knows. But that will never happen because they canceled it after the first season. When it comes to this series, there was a lot of problems. There was a lot of things that people did not like. And there were just things that were changed. I didn't watch the series, which, from the reviews that I read, I'm kind of glad I didn't. It's everything about it just makes the series that was already a masterpiece of an anime series just look like crap and spit on the source material, no the less. Everybody talks about source material and talks about how they should follow it. And yes, I understand in live action you can't do everything 100% to the way a cartoon or an anime does certain things that you can get away with in animation, but you can't necessarily get away with in live action. But if you're going to do an adaptation, this applies to cartoons too. This applies to cartoons. I mean, this could be a cartoon series too that could be totally crapped on as well. But if you're going to take a cartoon series or an anime series, because it seems like it's always the anime series that always gets stuff wrong most of the time. But if you're going to take a series from an anime series, no matter what it is, and you don't have a total idea of what that world is like, then you really shouldn't even touch it. Because if you don't have an idea of what they're going for or what they were doing, and you're trying to then rewrite it to try to make it think like, oh, well, we're going to write it so it's better now. We're going to fix problems that don't actually need to be fixed. But we're going to fix them anyways because we don't like what they did. Then you should be staying away from this. Because this was not your vision. This was not your creation of the characters, okay, and what they're doing, um, physically or non-physically, um, then you really shouldn't be rewriting stuff in live action. All right, and yes, some stuff has to be changed for simplistic reasons and other stuff, because live action, cartoon, animes, it's not going to always 100% work out for certain scenes and whatnot. But you got to do that. And one of the things that you need to do is also cater to fans that want things to look a certain way and not make fun of them for questioning this. So I know one of the biggest things going into this was, well, they made Faye's costume different or whatever. Faye Valentine obviously, hunts for money. She's a bounty hunter, basically. She hunts for money. She needs to pay her debt off, basically. And so she, as a character, uses herself to get said money. Now, some people might not like this perspective of Faye Valentine. But at the same time, this is her characteristics. This is what made Faye Valentine Faye Valentine. And if you're not going to do something similar to that in live action, then you probably shouldn't touch the series. And again, I'm not trying to say it's right or wrong or what's right and what's wrong, but when you're taking a series that is the way it is, you're not really supposed to mess with it in a way where it's disrespectful to what the character was. Yes, it's supposed to be different, but it doesn't have to be different dramatically to the point where it's unrecognizable to what these characters were like in cartoons or in anime in this case. I heard so many things, when Ed showed up, Ed looked so wrong. You know, Spike's, girlfriend wasn't right. They heard some bad stuff about that. It's just not good. And also, to bring this all up and take this all home, Rotten Tomatoes, which a lot of people usually go to, for better or for worse, but when it comes to this series, currently Rotten Tomatoes audience are at a 56%, and the critics are at a 46%, as we stand right now on Rotten Tomatoes. That's only a 10% difference between the audience and critics. Usually when the critics and the audience are pretty close in numbers, that's a pretty good indication on whether a show is good or bad. Okay? If the critics and the audience agree on around the same number, that's not good. All right? Sometimes you usually have a disconnect where the audience really thinks a movie or a series is really good, and then the critics will say it's really bad, or vice versa. We've seen that with Venom. Venom had a great audience number, but critics hated Venom, the first one. And obviously we know Venom was a great movie. But you get the point. When critics and audiences agree, it's a good indication the series isn't good. And there's other problems and there's other things we can get into, but I don't really want to do that. I just want to talk about this will always be now a Dragon Ball Evolution. It won't be as bad as Dragon Ball Evolution, because Dragon Ball Evolution is the be-all, the end-all when it comes to crappy animated adaptations. But this is what it be. And the fact that it was canceled right away when it was, without a second season, um, actually makes me more comfortable to them saving their money for something that could potentially be good. Like if there's another series that's waiting to be greenlit that could possibly get that budget, rather than waste their time trying to make a season 2 of something that's just going to continue losing money, not working out, fans not liking it, then I'd rather go to something else, whether it be licensing another anime, another show, or making another live action show that actually people will like. Um, then I think it's for the best that's where it goes towards. Um, as for people that actually liked it, unfortunately, to you guys, um, majority of the people did not agree with you. And that could be the silence majority versus the vocal minority discussion that's been out there for a long time. But the fact of the matter is, this show was terrible, and the majority of the people did not like it. And for whatever it was, whether it comes down to Faye Valentine as a character, or it comes down to Spike's girlfriend, Ed, or anything else that I haven't named, the fact of the matter is this series did not work. It did not work out, and that's just the end of the story. Now, what will this do for future anime adaptations for Netflix? I don't know. But instead of talking about the negatives about, if and when they're going to do another anime adaptation again after this, I would like to propose this more as a lesson to Netflix to not do this dumb crap again. If they decide to do a live action adaptation of anime, I'd like to think that they could use this as a reference to make sure that they actually bring in the right people designing costumes, scripts, whatever. I'd like this to be more as a learning curve for them. So one day they can actually succeed in this stuff. Now, as you all know, a couple of months ago, they did announce that they were doing a One Piece Netflix series. Maybe they're not after this. Who knows? Now, I know a lot of people were saying that in my video I was kind of more excited about this, but really, I was excited more about the casting because I liked the casting that they chose for the characters for the One Piece live action series. And as I even said in that video, that does not necessarily mean that the plot and the show is going to end up being good. I'm being more optimistic that hopefully that it's going to work out, but I still have more on the lean side that it might not work, especially after this Cowboy Bebop, the train wreck, the way it went down. But yeah, I hope they do. I hope if anything comes from this failed Cowboy Bebop live action series, is hopefully when they do Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is filming right now as we speak, hopefully that and the new One Piece Netflix series, whenever that comes out, hopefully they actually go back to this and use this failed product as a reminder at where they screwed up and make sure they don't do it again. Now, with One Piece, to my understanding, they're actually taking charge from the creator of One Piece. Like, the One Piece creator actually did the casting for the main cast, which is why we actually got a good cast. It wasn't Netflix that decided the cast. But also, the One Piece creator, to my understanding, is also designing the script and has say in the script, and what they can and can't do in the series, which actually will be a good thing, because if that is true, then again, the One Piece series might actually do good with the creator having some pull within the series. You know, with him actually being allowed to decide certain things. You know, where with Cowboy Bebop, the creator was not involved. You know, he did send them notes, but Netflix had 100% of the creative say on what they could do with the Cowboy Bebop live action series. That's not going to be the case, to my understanding, with the One Piece. Now, I don't know how accurate that is. I don't know how much say the creator of One Piece will have with the One Piece series, a live action series, but to my understanding, he has some pull in this and some creative direction with the One Piece live action series. He is actually the one who approved it to get greenlit. So, because he was getting some control of the series, which is why, and also control of the casting as well, he got 100% control of the main cast. So that's why I'm sort of more willing to give that a possible chance. But I still need to see more. I'm excited about the One Piece casting, but that doesn't mean the script or the final product is actually going to be good. We'll see down the road. But with this, they didn't have that at all. It was Netflix 100% deciding everything. And that is where the problem happened. If the creator was more involved and had more say in the series, maybe the series would have done better. Maybe there would have been a better end result. But with so many elements they screwed up, with so many of the things that went wrong with this series, there's just really nothing else to say. And this is really just all I'm saying. This is from my perspective, from reviewing it. And, you know, like I said, can there be series or television series that could sort of go away from the source material and the costumes and be successful? Yes, but they're far in between. Hugh Jackman was one of the rare cases, okay, with Wolverine, because there weren't that many Marvel heroes out there other than Blade on the big screen by that point. And he was still vastly new. You know, other than that, the only superheroes that Fox had a reference to was Batman and Superman, which is why they picked Hugh Jackman, by the way. Someone who is like 6 feet tall rather than 5'3" like Wolverine is. Because that was their vision of what a superhero had to be, was that tall at the time. But Hugh Jackman still played the character pretty accurate to the comics for a lot of the stuff, despite not having the accurate comic book costume. You know, other than Hugh Jackman, there aren't that many that have had that success that can kind of be far from what the character is supposed to look like, but still be more truthful to what the character is supposed to be like, despite not having the costume. It's very, very hard to pull off. And again, with Marvel, there weren't that many superheroes at the time when Hugh Jackman came around. So it's much different now with Marvel, is what I'm trying to say. You know, you really couldn't do that now with Marvel because there's so many Marvel superheroes out there now. More people are familiar with the Marvel brand now, where in 2000 they really weren't. But it's much different with these type of characters. You know, because, you know, a lot of the, you know, Cowboy Bebop is one of the rare animes that a lot of non-anime fans know about. You know, there aren't that many, you know, Dragon Ball Z obviously is another one where a lot of non-anime fans will watch Dragon Ball Z, you know, but won't watch any other anime besides Dragon Ball Z. Cowboy Bebop is one of the rare ones. As a matter of fact, Cowboy Bebop is one of the rare animes where people actually prefer the dub over the sub, including people that are typically sub fans. Will prefer the dub. So there's a lot of appreciation for the Cowboy Bebop dub itself compared to the sub version. Okay, so there's a lot of appreciation to that that anime, and so that puts it at more of a standard than other animes will be. And this is why I think Cowboy Bebop, this live action series, got as much coverage as it did compared to other. And yes, there were other Netflix series and movies that they did that didn't work out, but didn't get as much coverage. Like there was a Death Note one that didn't work out. But that didn't get as much coverage as Cowboy Bebop, because Cowboy Bebop is universally liked as an anime from English, typically non-anime fans, sub fans that typically don't watch dubs but watch Cowboy Bebop dub because it's better than the sub universally to most people. So that's probably another disconnect for this series. There was a lot of expectations going into the series, and there was just so many problems. And it's not necessarily the actors' faults, because again, the actors can only really do what they get that they are given. But at the end of the day, it's something that I think Netflix needs to take a look at the next time they decide to do a live action series. And One Piece obviously is down the corner because they already announced the casting. Hopefully it is true that the creator of One Piece, again, is going to have most of the say in what's going to happen there. But we'll have to wait and see on that. But in the meantime, that's really kind of the end of the story on this. And this is really all I can comment about the Cowboy Bebop live action series. It's canceled after one season. You won't see anything else from the second half of it. And that might be probably for the best. Let me know what you guys think. Did you guys ended up watching it? What do you guys think of the series? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What else do you think was the problem with this series that could have been done better for it? And that is about it, guys. I am the SS Ultimate Go. Well, comment, rate, like, subscribe. I do have my Discord link in the description for discussions and all that. That is about it, guys. I am the SS Ultimate Goku. I'm out of here. Peace. See you later, Space Cowboys. Bang.